Hello, cutlerylover here. Someone had commented on my Benchmade Griptilian. Liked the way this one looks specifically, this model. So he wanted me to share some more information about it. This model is the BM551BK0, ODD2. I know that's a mouthful. So I'm going to break it down for you. BM is for Benchmade, if you don't already know. 551 is the model that represents the full-size Griptilian and the fact that it has thumb studs as opposed to the hole in the blade or oval in the blade. So that's the BM551. Now the BK represents black for the black coated blade. The OD represents the fact that it has OD green handle scales, or handles. And then the last part, D2. D2 represents the fact that this has a D2 blade. D2 is a tool steel. A lot of people like D2. Its performance is great, cutting. I've said it before, D2, being that it's tool steel, it's not stainless. Therefore, it takes a little bit more maintenance. It will rust on you a little more easily. Some people think that stainless steel does not rust. That's not true. It stains less than a carbon steel, like D2 or A2 or something of that nature. 1095 carbon, stuff like that will rust more easily. But stainless steel will rust. It just takes harsher conditions or more neglect to get that to rust. Because this has a D2 blade, that's why they opted to put a coating on here. It's not just for looks. I mean, yeah, it looks cool. The combination of the green and the black is kind of slick. But for the most part, I don't like coatings on my blades. I like them bare metal, very little. Like I like stonewash finish, things like that. But for this one specifically, because it's D2, I don't mind the coating. It's helping prevent air and oxidation to the blade, to the steel. I just don't like coatings usually because I see with this it's a little hard in the video, but there's a little bit of wear marks on it, and when this gets really old and used, the black starts scratching up like really bad. I think it just looks crappy. But that's my personal preference. Anyway, so that's what that stands for. BM551BKODD2. That's how it breaks down. Now, the Griptilians, all of them, and there's many, many different models, they all have the axis lock. And that's one of the reasons why they're so popular. Now, how this lock works is just by pushing back on this little lever. And this is truly an ambidextrous knife, meaning that you have dual thumb studs on either side. So if you're left-handed, you can operate this, and by using the lock, you can use it left-handed, which I'm not too coordinated with because I'm righty, or right-handed. So it's truly ambidextrous, especially in that the feeling. A lot of knives with dual thumb studs, you can use lefty or righty, but in a left-hand position, it's nowhere near as comfortable for the user, especially when you have like a liner lock and you're pushing back this way on it. Normally you'd be pushing down righty, and then let's say you're lefty, you're pulling up. It's a little awkward. Maybe to me just because I'm not lefty, but I find that to be awkward. If you wanted to use this if you're lefty and bought this knife, you can easily switch the clip to the other side, and it would be the exact same knife, but in a lefty version. So like I said, truly ambidextrous. So if you want to carry two, one in each pocket, you can set the clip up so that you can do that and comfortably use it. What else? What else can I say? I put a simple loop lanyard on here as a glow-in-the-dark cord end. I'm not going to talk much about the lanyard because I'm going to make a separate video on lanyards in general and how I find them useful. I don't particularly like them on folders that much, but with this, I'll get into that in my other videos. But let's see, let's do a size. This is the full size, like I said, 551. The blade, the cutting edge, looks to be right at 3 3/8 inches, and the total length of the knife. Let me try to get this in frame here. Kind of hard to get the whole thing in frame because I got the camera close up. But let's put this down for a second. Lanyard aside. The full length is right under 8 inches. Full length of the knife open. As you saw before, you can open and close just flicking your wrist. If you take the axis lock and push it down, you're releasing the blade, and so you can just flick the wrist to open and close really easy. I just tend to use the thumb studs. I can flick them open really easy like that. You can do the lock with 2 fingers. Usually I'll push down with both fingers, but many people just push down just the back finger. It'll work the same way to open and close it. Many different options. Even in the reverse, you can just kind of flick your wrist down and it'll open in reverse if you want to get a reverse grip on that. Really simple to use. The axis lock is actually very strong. It's a very, very strong design. A lot of people put that to the test on the forums. Something that some people don't like the Griptilian for one main reason, and that's the fact that it has a synthetic handle. And synthetic just meaning plastic. As simple as that. It's plastic. Not many people, some people actually bought this thinking it was going to be kind of rubberized. It's hard when you purchase knives online. You look at them, you say, oh, well, that's really cool. You don't know, you don't have a feel for it. You don't really know what that's going to feel like, the texture of it. And descriptions, they're very vague most of the time. This is plastic. It's grippy here where it's textured, and it's smooth here. Most people find that the handle is actually a little bit beefier. You know, pocket clip aside, the handle itself is a little beefier, a little bit wider. Some people really, really like that because of the grip you could facilitate. Some people don't like it. They like a very slim design. But yes, it is plastic, but I can tell you that being on the forums and having reading posts from over 60,000 people, there's literally hundreds of people who own the Benchmade Griptilian in full size, small size, all different models. Never once have I ever seen or read about the handle cracking or breaking in any way. So if you're weary about getting a knife with a plastic handle, some people don't like it because they think it just feels cheap. But I don't mind it. It's a great working knife. It's a knife I can take out and use hard and not worry about. You know, I have a couple knives that I tend to baby a little because they're kind of quote-unquote collectible, and what knife guys call safe queens. You know, you buy them, they look great, they're beautiful, but you don't want to use them, you don't want to scratch them up. Not with this knife. This knife, I have no problem cutting whatever I have to do, whatever cutting chores I have, except being that this is D2 blade. D2 has incredible edge retention. It's very, very hard steel, and this sharp edge it'll hold. It'll last a long time with cutting. But the drawback to having a very hard steel like this is that it can be a little brittle. Meaning that if I were to cut into like metal, like if I were to rip open a tin can or something, it might chip the blade a little. Very, very hard plastics like zip ties. Although it can handle them, I tend to stay away from them just because I don't want that slight edge damage. You know, something that I look out for. But for the most part, I'm cutting paper and cardboard, stuff like that, so I don't have to worry about that. And that's why I like the D2 over the standard 154 CM. Now, if you buy an old, even like new old stock, is what it's called, where you're getting a new knife, but it's an older version of a knife. The Griptilians, they originally were in 440C stainless, and then recently have been upgraded to the 154 CM. And then from there, and I've had a 440C grip, and I've had the 154 CM grip, and I love them both. But I eventually upgraded to the D2 just because of the edge retention and the performance. So, great knife. Can't say much more about it. I'm already almost 10 minutes, my limit. But I hope this was a little more informative and gives you an idea of the knife. I know you said that you were going to get one in the tan handle, the khaki. That's great too. Can't go wrong. Thank you for watching the video, and take care.